Pittsburgh Steelers outside linebacker TJ Watt tore up his finger in this past Sunday's game against the Ravens, but was a beast, finished the game, and dominated the Ravens, sending them home for the Steelers' victory. So, just in case if you haven't heard by now, TJ Watt suffered an injury against the Ravens, and it was not good at all. Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reported, just in case if you haven't heard, the Steelers star TJ Watt suffered a badly dislocated finger and tore multiple ligaments in Sunday's win over the Baltimore Ravens. Watt, instead of sitting out the game after tearing up his finger, he popped it back into place and kept playing. He only missed 2 plays after the injury from when he initially got injured. He missed 2 plays, went to the sideline, popped it back in, and then came back and dominated the Ravens. And this injury, even though it's a bad injury and you tore ligaments and will need surgery probably after the season, this injury won't keep him out of any games after the bye week. So TJ Watt, he's a beast. And like I said, he probably will need surgery. And per Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, he said that TJ Watt may need to have his finger surgically repaired after the season, depending on how it heals. But in the words of Coach Mike Tomlin, he does not care. When this play first happened, I actually saw it on TV and saw TJ Watt called to be taken out of the game. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but I believe it was on the very first drive of the Ravens. It might have been the second. TJ Watt got double teamed to block, and then he ran into their offensive guard, Kevin Zeitler, and then he kind of like jammed his finger or did something, I guess tore it, and then he called to take out the game, and 2 plays later, he came back in the game. So I'm guessing that is when the injury happened, and this picture on the screen right now is his finger being taped together with his other finger. You see those 2 fingers taped together on his left hand, his pinky finger taped with his other finger. That's his injury, and that's how he came back in the game and ended up dominating. So TJ Watt, even though he was injured, it still didn't stop him from having a great game and leading the Steelers to victory, because the rest of the game he came in and he finished the game with 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections, and the more important thing, he had a fumble recovery that lifted the Steelers to the first place in the AFC North as of right now. So TJ Watt, he's a beast, and it looks like he gained some superpowers of healing through injuries, because mostly any other player, I believe, would have had to sit out the game, because you tear something in your finger, you tear something in your body. The first natural instance and the first natural thing is just sit out, recover from it. Probably going to miss some weeks kind of dealing with the injury. But no, TJ Watt has the heart of a Steeler, and he played through the game knowing that his team needs him, knowing that he can't sit out, because if he does, the team will more than likely lose. The team relies on their defense. He stayed in the game. He produced, got 2 sacks after that. After his injury, that's when he got his first 2 sacks of the game. And he didn't get the sacks before. He didn't disappear after his injury. He actually got better after his injury. So he's the heart of the Steeler. He stayed in the game, helped the Steelers propel past the Baltimore Ravens, an AFC North divisional rival, someone who the Steelers always have battles with. He helped them propel them to a victory. And TJ Watt, he's the heart of a Steeler and was able to come back from the injury. And if you don't know, today is his birthday. So I guess on Sunday against the Ravens, tearing up his finger, he got an early birthday gift from the Baltimore Ravens. Just speaking a little bit more about TJ Watt, as of right now, he leads the league in sacks with 8 on the season. The next closest guy is Khalil Mack with 6 of the season, but he got all of his in 1 game. So TJ Watt, he's leading the league in sacks, and he's just leading the league in multiple categories, or at least top 5 in a lot of categories as well, like pressures, tackles for loss, and stuff like that. TJ Watt, I believe, if the Steelers are able to have a really good season, if not just like make the playoffs, then TJ Watt has a really good chance of winning Defensive Player of the Year. But it still decides on if he breaks the record for sacks or if the Steelers have at least a good enough record for TJ Watt to win it. But TJ Watt, as of right now, he's back to his Defensive Player of the Year kind of ways that he didn't have last year because of his pectoral injury in which he tore it. But now being healthy, I guess somewhat healthy because now he's not healthy, but it being somewhat healthy and not dealing with that pec injury that he had to miss like half the season for, him returning to the Steelers, he's returning to his Defensive Player of the Year ways, and he's doing a really good job for the Steelers and helping the team out in every single category. But looking at other injuries, just giving an update of what I've heard from the Steelers, like Deontay Johnson, Anthony McFarland Jr., those guys who were on IR for the Steelers. Deontay Johnson, he was talking to the media, and he basically said that he 100% expects to be back after the bye week. And that's a really good thing for the Steelers because that's someone the Steelers have been really missing as a playmaker at the wide receiver position on the outside besides George Pickens, someone who could create separation on his routes, someone who could always get open whenever you need him to. Looking at the Steelers without Deontay Johnson, they've been having a really hard time separating on routes. They have George Pickens obviously running good routes, but he's not really creating too much separation. It's more of the contested catch situations. Other than that deep ball that he caught to win the game against the Ravens, against Marlon Humphrey, Calvin Austin, he's not really being used properly from what I saw. He's running more like hitch routes and deep routes and kind of having to play on the outside, not really creating much separation on his routes either. Allen Robinson has been creating no separation on his routes, more of contested catch opportunities as well. So getting Deontay Johnson back, from what he said, being 100% back after the bye week, it's going to be a really good thing for the Steelers, having someone to create space on the outside, inside, or wherever you line him up. And also, Anthony McFarland Jr., who is dealing with a knee injury, I believe, he was placed on IR as well after that first game, and it was expected that he was going to be a really good kick returner. Just looking from that first game of the season against the San Francisco 49ers, he did a really good job returning kicks. But ever since that game, he got injured, and it just hasn't been the same with him. He went on IR, and then now he's expected to be able to come off of IR and return right away after the bye week. This knee injury wasn't expected to be as long of an injury, so him coming back now on short-term IR, he should be the full-time kick returner once again, with the Steelers struggling in that area. Ever since he got kind of taken out the game with that injury, the kick return game has not been good for the Steelers. Yes, Desmond King has been kick returns, but he just hasn't been able to create much yardage on the kick return game. So hopefully with that burst of Anthony McFarland Jr., a fast guy returning kicks, the Steelers are able to improve in that area and help out with the field position game. Punt return game, obviously, Gunnar Olszewski, it seems like he's taking the job back, but hopefully Calvin Austin is able to get that job back because that's a really good opportunity for him. Speed on kick return game, speed on punt return game, and that could only bode well for the Steelers in big play opportunities and field position. So with that being said, this is kind of the injury update for the Steelers. TJ Watt, once again, dislocated his finger and tore multiple ligaments doing so, but he won't miss any time, and he's a beast. And Deontay Johnson, we expect him 100% to be back based off his own words from a hamstring injury. And Anthony McFarland Jr. with a knee injury, he expects to be back as well playing. So those are the three main guys who were injured. Obviously Cameron Heyward, he's still going to be out. Hopefully James Daniels is able to come back. He participated in practice, but these are the injuries for the Steelers. And with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this injury? And do you think it will limit TJ Watt in any category? Do you think him having to deal with this torn ligaments in his finger will slow him down? Or do you believe he'll still be on pace to break the sack record? Let me know down in the comments below. And do you think he has a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year? Do you think he's a league leader right now? Also, let me know your thoughts on Deontay Johnson coming back, Anthony McFarland Jr., and don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well. If you like Steelers content, analysis reports, rumors, highlights, breakdowns, film breakdowns, everything like that. I cover Pittsburgh Steelers, post videos every day throughout this regular season, off season, and I'll continue doing so all throughout the season and off season once again. So like, comment, subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time. I'm out. Peace.